Would you consider yourself a high-level entrepreneur? Now, most likely, if you're listening to this, you definitely are. And what I've heard over and over and over again is it's hard to find like-minded people that are like that too. Again, I'm from Maine, so I totally understand how difficult it can be. Thank goodness I have an amazing online community, so I know tons of them. And that is exactly why we are starting this brand new mastermind group with high-level, like-minded entrepreneurs, the ones that you can go alongside with that will help move you to the next level, let alone with kick butt coaching from me, because I like to slap you around, both on focus and on strategy. So if you're looking to double or triple this year, which I know most of you are, I want you to go ahead and apply and see if it's a good fit for you. I will totally tell you if it's not and if I wouldn't do it if I were you. But go to eventualmillionaire.com/apply. We are looking for amazing, like-minded entrepreneurs. My previous mastermind members have told me it is life changing. So take the time today, fill out the very quick application, and we'll see if it's a fit. Take care.
Potent advice and inspiration from real self-made millionaires. Welcome to the Eventual Millionaire with your host, Jamie Masters.
Welcome to Eventual Millionaire. I am Jamie Masters, and I am so excited to have Richard Beaumont on the show. I actually had a reading with him. He runs HumanDesign.info. He also ran a magazine called Kindred Spirit. I got it gifted to me for Christmas, and I'm so excited that he said yes to come on the show. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
I love how I always turn everything around. Wait, come on my show. Tell my people my stuff. So what I want to do is sort of break it down a little bit and talk about the beginning, because you're in the UK. You started a magazine, a spirituality kind of magazine back in the day when we had no internet and all sorts of stuff. So how did you start that and even get into it to begin with and grow it?
Well, I started with the passion to do it. The knowledge to be able to select the right articles, or articles that I found interesting, useful, practical, articles with substance. I learned through about 10 years of personal development work myself before that. So I had the knowledge, but I didn't have any experience of running a magazine. I didn't even have, my partner owed £1,000 and I had £1,000. So between us, we had nothing. But we had this burning desire to bring something out that would bring together the holistic sciences. So healthcare and personal development and new science and the green development, the new technology, that kind of thing. So I started by, how the hell are we going to get it out? And that was like, okay, let's see, who do we know who has a mailing list with people that may be interested. And so I'd helped them with their magazine a few months before, and I said, well, let's mail to these people. So we mailed to about 10,000.
Really? That's a lot for the first.
Yeah, I know. It filled the entire corridor. The house I was living in, it was like full of magazines. And I even forgot about how much that would all cost to send out. And in the end, because the post office hadn't done their job, I got it sent out for free. I was just, when you're really going for it, existence comes in and goes, okay, don't worry about that. We'll sort that for you.
That's insane, though, because shipping out 10,000 would have been ridiculously expensive. Did you have ads in it, or were you monetizing it anyway, or it was just shipping?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The way to make it work, there were 5 ways. I think if you're going to run a business, you need at least five different income streams. So we had advertising, we had a mail order section, we had a subscription, we had personal shops that I basically rang. I got about 750 shops to store it on a sale or return basis. And then I had the news trade. So altogether, it kept us going until we broke even, and the rest is history.
Okay, so there's so many things, and I know this was a long time ago, and it's so interesting because times have changed such with social media, and you can't really do this anymore back in the day. But what I find so interesting is how you just had the gumption to just go out and do it, like, and finding 750 shops. Like, how did you get those shops? Did you go shop to shop?
I went on to Google, I can't remember exactly, but basically I got the yellow pages, and I looked at what kind of shops would do it. And health food stores would do it, and new age bookshops would do it, and there were different people doing different essences, different clinics, different alternative centers. So I basically rang them, and I said, look, there's nothing you're not going to lose anything. I'll pay to get it to you, or it'll be delivered to you. All you do is put it on a little shelf. Here, we'll even give you a stand, a free stand to put them in. So it was a kind of a no-lose situation from their point of view.
I call it pounding the pavement. That is you making
Yeah.
phone calls one at a time. And I know in this day and age, we're a little bit,
I know.
we don't have the patience, right? Like making that. How long did it take you before you were in 750, before it really started taking off and you had a name for yourself?
Because of the quality. The one thing I did was to make sure the magazine was of a higher quality than anything else around. So I used really good paper. I used full color printing, which wasn't that usual back then. I used high profile interviews and interesting stuff. So the level was pitched at a quality product. So people were looking forward to it. It would be like, oh, I wonder what's in this. What mysteries are we going to be interviewed? Where are we going to find this time? It was exciting for them and for me.
Right? You get to have the fun doing it too. So being able to know that was a unique selling proposition, did you know going in that it was going to be successful? Or do you know what I mean? Like if you go in not knowing and then go, hey, we're just going to make everybody goes off to make a better quality one, but usually it doesn't hit the same way that it sounds like yours did.
It was about the first thing I did was to draw some Venn diagrams, which people, what kind of groups were we going for, and then where they overlapped, so that I had different places to send different emails to actually break down my customer base. And because it was a fusion of lots of different methodologies and lifestyles, but really everything, the link was holistic. What was holistic and what was about living in a more natural way? That was really our key. Natural, but intelligent,
Definitely, which is where we're at now, I feel like, right? So, but back then it was, yeah, we've been trending this way. How have you seen the trends change over this many years? Because it's been many, many years. How many years ago did you start this?
In 1987. So yeah, a long time ago.
I was 5, so that's lovely.
Yes. I mean, okay. What was alternative is now more mainstream, but there is a dumbing down that's happened, and there's been assumptions based on ignorance, basically. So there's a lot of people that are involved in things that are, I guess they might take them to the next step, but they're still trapped in there's a spiritual woo-woo area where people get caught and they're trying to get miracles to happen without doing the hard work or without actually getting involved in their life. And there's this idea that, the truth is something that is going to fit everybody. And this is where it falls down. There's a kind of a homogenized wisdom that doesn't fit with every single person. So you've got where I am now with human design is everyone is unique. And if we bring them to their uniqueness, that is what lights them up. So it's not just, for example, some people can meditate and other people's no. And yet we're told that meditation is good for everyone. Well, it's not for some. You just can't do it. Some people have a mind that can be going all the time. They sit in a meditative position, and there's this homogenized way of how to sit, like it's like, come on, where did this come from? I mean, I know where it came from. I know the background. I'm going, this is just silly. So it's more discernment, and there's some great people out there too.
So I love this because I call it popcorn content, right? The 5 steps that everybody needs, right? Which is great when you're just, want something that tastes good really quick just for a short period of time. But then when you're actually looking to dive deeper, how do people stand out in regards, especially for you going down the human design path and knowing so much about how unique, they call it the operating system for the human, and I'm obsessed with assessments in general. But how can we build a tribe when everybody's unique and we're trying to like niche and give them the right advice?
The tribe is in authenticity. The tribe is to understand that each one has their own inner strategy and authority. And the fact if they're involved in their experiment, they become part of the tribe. In human design, there are 4 different types of human being, just as there are 4 blood types. They can all come together for a party. They can all come together for a talk on the latest discoveries in human design. It's a kind of an addictive knowledge once you get into it, because you want to know more, and that kind of ties people together.
That's really interesting. And it's funny because I've went online, again, assessment junkie. There's not all that much about human design. And it kind of looks like this. I kind of show my little chart thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy and looks nutso for people. But when you're going out and going, okay, now because you do consultations and that's how I met you. How do people even find you now? Because it was my boyfriend that gave me a thing. And I was like, I don't even know how he found you online, right? And it's totally different than the magazine world, but it sounds like you're a big name for yourself already.
I'm one of the original people. I was close to the founder. And so I learned directly from him. And I've just been around a lot. I mean, and if there's, people come to me if they want to know someone who can go deeply into whatever their problem is or whatever their issue is, or to see what they're really about, like I did with you. Not everyone can do that. You've got to integrate the knowledge over a number of years. So by reputation. But practically speaking, I've also got a lot of YouTube videos out there. There'll be a lot more. The site is being redone to make it even more mobile friendly. And I'll be adding various freebies, ongoing videos. So yeah, I'm old-fashioned in the fact that I make a good business by not doing so much on social media, but I'm about to. So I succeed because of my reputation, basically, and my passion, and that I'm accurate.
Right. That also, I'm really good at what I do. That also really helps. But I guess that was sort of the point. I'd heard your name quite a bit. Everyone's like, he's the guy. I'm like, well, I want the guy. I want the main top guy, right? But how did you build up that reputation? Like, did you go in going, I want to be a thought leader in this space when you started with the magazine and everything? Was it more about you, or was it just about trying to create the tribe?
In the magazine?
Well, in your life, right? As you're moving forward, the reputation side.
It's I have a built-in integrity and responsibility. So whoever I'm dealing with, I want to provide a good service, and it has to be interesting for me. So in the magazine, if I was going to find an article that was interesting to me, I mean, wow, there's so many things. There's so many things that people don't often think about. And if you present something, for example, interspecies communication with insects was something that really astounded me. What, really? You're joking? Really? You can prove it? Or whatever it might be. And yeah, I remember making a call to Italy. I'd heard a rumor, and I said, I understand that you guys claim to be able to time travel. Is that right? And the woman on the other end says, yes, that's right. Okay, are we talking about physical time travel? And she goes, yes, we are. And I go, I'm going to be on the next plane. I want to know about this. I never knew where it was going to come from. And so checking it out thoroughly. I'm an investigator, making sure that my facts were really checked out. It just gets a reputation. People like to read something, or if the information is good, they want to know more.
So I was going to call you an investigator too. That's exactly what it sounds like. Where's the line of balance, though, of going down the path of finding the information or the quality or the learning side, and then the business side, right? Because you're like, I want to be the best, but I also need time to be able to make money and serve my people and the rest of the business side. How do you balance that?
Well, it's about priorities. Right now I've been doing a lot of live training all over the world, and there's coming a point now where I want to just put the knowledge into teaching films, so people can just download them and watch them in their own time, and then we have a question and answer session in Zoom. So that's where I'm going, and so I'm creating that. At the same time, I'm working on social media. At the same time, I'm working on the new website. At the same time, I'm investigating something which I'm curious about. So it's how I use my time, and the time is depending on what the urgency is. the website has to be worked on because the web designer needs it done within the next 2 months. So that's a priority, but my students are waiting for the film, so I have to find time for that as well. And I wait until I'm in the mood, until I respond to doing either the filming or the website or the research. I follow my energy, and that way I get a lot done.
That's what I want to talk about then too, because there's this hustle mentality and grind of how, business owners are supposed to do this. And yet you're kind of the exact opposite in that, where you're like, I want to feel like I want to do it, which, don't get me wrong, I would like to do also. And yet sometimes deadlines and preconceived things that I've already said yes to, all this stuff happens. So how do you mitigate that? Like, if the website needs to get done, but you don't feel like doing it, what do you do? Like, how do you do that?
I might not feel like working on the text, but maybe I'll be feeling like working on the images. And so if my thoughts are not, coming together in a way that I can feel satisfied with, then I'll work on images. And there's a lot of images to be done. Or I'll be listening to. There's lots of different sides to the new website. So basically, for example, if I'm not in the mood for doing my accounts, I won't do them until I am. And there comes a point where it's actually very satisfying when you're in the mood. So I use my energy that's available in the moment for whatever the choice is for me to respond to. And if there's nothing, then I just might go and sit down and read a nice book for a while. And an hour and a half later, I'm now ready to do work.
Okay, so is there a point in time, though, you do actually feel like doing accounting stuff? Because with business owners, yes, there's a lot of stuff that we have to do and a lot of stuff that is not in our strengths. And we're like, oh, avoid. But how do you notice that, hey, I feel like working on accounts and stuff right now? That feels good. How do you notice that stuff?
There's a part of me that actually, there's a logical part of me that enjoys knowing what's going on with the figures. And I think that's important in any business, to know exactly where the money's coming from and what is going on, where it's coming from. So that's kind of, I'm already motivated to find out. And I do quarterly accounts anyway for commissions and things that I put out. So it has to come up every quarter anyway. And within 2 weeks I'm allowed a month to sort it out. So within that month, there's going to be a day I'm looking forward to getting it out the way and finding out what happened. I enjoy. I do it when I enjoy it, and I do enjoy it sometimes.
It's really impressive to see how much you know about yourself, especially we learn about tapping into flow and how flow is important, but it seems so individualistic. Like you were saying before, it sounds like you really know yourself really well. How would you tell people to learn more about themselves and how to do that? Because a lot of us are shut down from the from the body, or you know what I mean? So that way we can't actually tell what we're feeling at the time. So what steps or tips do you have for people?
Well, basically, I don't know how the hell people get through life without knowing what their design is. I've been in this for 20 years now. And I used to waste a lot of energy chasing things that were not me. It's so valuable. It's so valuable. And you can see, if it's not in the report, it will be in a reading. If someone asks me specifically, what am I good at? Or, then I can go, well, this part you're never gonna like, so you better send that to someone else. Don't try and do that, because you're not going to be good at it anyway. So it's a science. It's factual. It can be verified in the person's experience, as you found out. But also the relief when someone says, okay, well, that's not for you, you'll have to delegate that, and there's just like, oh, thank God,
Seriously.
But what you are good at would be this, and let's see how that can be developed. So,
and that's what was I printed it. Like the report thing that I have that you have created is ridiculously massive. Just if people that are not looking at a video right now, I have a 3-ring binder that is completely full of the report that I bought from him. And so what's interesting though to me is it resonates, right? It resonates with me. But I know we've got a lot of people that are listening are like, well, it could be whatever, right? Because some assessments are hit or miss. When you go through this, can you give me like some examples of people actually running by their human design and how it's really affected them and changed them as a human and how they work?
Oh, it's transformational. Um, I did a reading with your friend the other day, and she said this has been, I will never forget this. This has been a life changer. Someone got a reading with me given as a gift last week, and they said this is the best gift I've ever been given. I mean, to hear accurate knowledge that you recognize about yourself, it's not a resistance. It's like oh, thank God, someone can actually see who I am. It's like a relief. And from that relief comes the empowerment of, I want to live who I am. I really want to try the experiment. And there's an experiment for everyone, unique experiment for everyone to test. That sound, for example, that you just made, it's part of your response mechanism.
I'm learning so much about that. So one of the things that I never realized about myself, and this is what the human design thing taught me, if you ask me something, I can answer anything. And I have a very high profile friend in the influencer where if you put her on the spot, she hates it. Where I'm like, no, I don't want to pre-plan anything. That sucks. Don't make me write anything in advance. I just want to go with the flow and be asked and prompted. And that's apparently part of my human design, which I just thought I was avoiding doing the work in advance instead. So with the new laser coaching show that we have coming out, it's like, oh, just pop me in front of someone and I'll just do my magic. Whereas I had no idea that would be okay because I thought I was just bad at the other stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is a wonderful thing. People start living their strengths, and you're here to live the life that you're designed to live. If you don't know who you are, how the hell are you going to find it? You're going to chase what you think you want, and you're going to meet a lot of resistance, and you're going to be pushing, people going, I want the money, I can get the money by doing this because this is what people want, and I'm going to fit myself into there because I want the money. It doesn't work like that. Money comes as the result of being true to yourself and being in service, providing something that people want, but also suits you and that you want to do more of it. Otherwise, whatever you work at is just going to be a hell of a drag.
So that was my whole thing on that popcorn type content where everyone's like, oh, find your passion or blah, blah, blah. And everybody just assumes that it's something that you're interested in at the time. But that to me is waning, right? People will start this business on how to make knitting software, right? And you're like, okay, well, that's great for a short period of time. And then I get burnt out or whatever those pieces are. So what you're saying is when you live in your strengths, which is what I believe. I've interviewed many, many millionaires and they say live in your strengths. The problem is we're like, well, what are those strengths? And trying to figure that out is kind of a pain in the butt.
Well, that's why getting an instant report of 120 odd pages or 30 pages, 130 pages is something that's instantly given to you. That's like a gift.
Yeah.
It's something that's true and verifiable and instant. Living it, that's the experiment. And,
totally different. Yes, it's one thing to have knowledge. It's another thing to be wise enough to use it consistently.
And knowledge is, people think about knowledge. I mean, human design isn't geography. It's like a living knowledge. So once you get into it, once you see what's going on, you can hear the way that you speak your truth. And it's something that's unique. You can recognize it in everything that you do. For example, you're here to be in alignment with your own inner journey too in life. You can't, if you did a business just for the money, it wouldn't work. It's got to be you as well, because there is this inner directedness in you. So, and of course, you're not someone who will stand for having any authority over you in terms of business. You're a one-woman show. I mean, so, if someone came to me and said, I'm unhappy with my job, and they had this aspect that you have in you, I'd go, well, it's not going to work. You're unemployable,
Which I adore, but I didn't like it when I was employed. That sucked.
Sure, but you can see it in the chart. That's totally. I mean, it's very clear to someone who can read it that it's what will work and what won't work.
Well, I wish I knew that like when I was 10 or like 20 and how to, like I was telling you that I'm going to get the kids readings too, because I'm like, I want to prepare them for what their strengths are in an early age now. So that way they don't get a job that they absolutely hate and then have to leave that job when they're 25 too, like me. Right.
That exactly. We've tried to get the knowledge to the children through the parents, obviously. But I tell you, if parents bring their children up as the children are designed, they are more intelligent, they are happier, they are more grounded in everything that they do. They're quite, they have this self-sufficiency that a lot of kids don't have because they know who they are. And it's kind of easy for them. You know, they haven't been as conditioned as adults. So that's the end game, is to help the next generation too.
Well, and I'm just thinking when they turn teenagers, I need to really figure out how to handle them.
Yeah.
I got a spunky one that I have to worry about. And not only in that, but in business too, and trying to figure out now they're doing business and to see them struggle and not struggle and where things are going, I feel like I might be able to facilitate, because one of the most difficult things in any personal development, for me anyway, is sticking to the remembrance that, hey, I'm wired this way, or I'm like this, and to keep reminding myself over and over. And as a mom, if I can do that for my kids, I mean, I wish I had that. Do you have any suggestions on trying to get that, especially for, like, one of my strategies is to wait and then respond. So I have to wait for that input, like we were saying before, and then I can know what I want to do. How do I specifically, or somebody that doesn't, that knows what their human design is, how do they keep remembering that? Because I keep forgetting.
Because it works. And if you respond just once and it's correct, you'll see where that takes you. And if you don't respond and you find yourself in a pickle and you go, yeah, I didn't respond, I just thought it. You know, you go back to the moment of the decision and you get to more and more want to make that decision correctly in the next time. And every time you make a correct decision, you get more and more onto your trajectory and things begin to move smoother.
Instead of fighting like I'm usually really good at. Okay.
Yeah.
The fact that it can be easier is a wonderful sign.
Well, you're not designed to be in a stressful life. You know, you have an open root system, so easy is best.
I completely agree with you.
and bringing in money, you know, you have the money channel, so it's just, you know, you're in the right business.
So what do people do? Like, and they can get a free report too, by the way, not the crazy advanced one, but a free report on your site, HumanDesign.info. But when they look at that and they don't have a money channel, should they be like worried? You know what I mean? Like how
no.
Everybody's on their own thing though. And some people don't have a money channel. I'm so thankful I do.
It doesn't mean, to have the full money channel is not common. But there are material aspects. Human design is a synthesis of modern genetics and ancient wisdom, especially the I Ching. There's a direct correlation between the ancient Chinese I Ching and the codons of genetics. Perfectly. There's been books written about it before human design was even in existence. It's only been around about 30 years. So we know that works. And the attributes, all possible human experiences, are codified in the I Ching. With human design, it's made personal. It's actually put into the blueprint. So it's clear. And there are material aspects, third lines. For example, you can make money wherever you have a third line. You know, the frame of the type itself will also, I'll create a money report to make it easy. And give me another year and I'll manage to get around to that one.
Only when you feel like it, I'm sure.
When I feel like it. Those are things I want to do. I want to bring out some wonderful stuff. So I'm enjoying working with that. So.
Well, I love how much you're able to fine tune it and allow, so because like we were saying before, everything seems very generic online, and so diving in the depths of knowing who you are and running from that. It's your mission. I love that it's a mission for you, and to share that in a way that people can resonate with too is an amazing gift. You must love what you do.
I do, because I know people can get lost. The white areas in the chart is where genetically we're drawn to difference. So two people come together and they're very different, but there's this attraction because of the difference. And if they have a child from coming together, the child is a result of the difference. The genes are happy. The life of the parents may suck because they are so different, but the genes don't care about that. So in our own personal lives, we're drawn to what is not fixed in us. And again, we keep going, almost following that propensity, and it never works. So that's something that can be told to people and they will recognize it and they can, yeah, it's about an experiment. It's not about, once you understand the framework, which is all in the report, you try the experiment and you get to really see. I mean, you and I are both, generators, manifesting generators. There are the other three types. They don't respond. They're silent. You'll see them eating and they don't make any sound. We're going, this is good. We'll be making noises because it's the way we're made and we can hear it. But a projector, no. So it's other things. Some of them are through physical sensations that they get their inner authority. Some are emotional, and the depth and the quality over time is what really matters for them. It's just knowing a few key things, very simple, a few key things, and working with it or watching it. And the life, you naturally want to go in that direction because it works.
How does somebody that's a content creator like me, I know on when I'm working with one-on-one clients, I can run their human design. I can figure out more pieces. I can intuitively know about that. But when I am creating content for technically the masses, I can't get individualistic. I'm not teaching human design, so I can't tell them exactly what to do. What advice would you give me to try and curate that experience? Because you're right. If I tell people to meditate, because I love meditating, and it's hit or miss, how do I try and do better at that?
Well, for you particularly, you're here on the right angle cross of the Sphinx. So you're here to actually offer up different directions to people. You could do this, you could do that, you could do this, without saying do that and do this. It's like, this is an option, this is an option, this is an option. So you're actually, for you personally, you're not limited by what options you bring out. They've just got to be exciting for you. And you've got to know that, yeah, it's a good thing. By looking into it.
I appreciate that because I don't think there's one way. I work with too many different types of people. Nootropics are different based on people. Meditation's different. Everything's different.
Yes.
And that's what's so annoying about being a content creator. I'm like, I don't know what's going to work for everyone, right?
Generally speaking, there is a homogenized view on the world and what life's about. So generally speaking, people want to be in a loving relationship. Mm. They want to have enough money. They want to be successful. They want to be acknowledged. Mm. They want to be appreciated. There are these things, but let them be appreciated for who they are. I can't get away from the uniqueness because we all have our own life. But generally speaking, people go, I want to improve my relationship. I want to make more money. But really, people just want to they just want to live their own life. Money comes as a consequence of that.
Mm. It is funny that I'm noticing myself going, so much more. And at the beginning, when I first started interviewing people got annoyed with me. And I thought it was just like a normal thing that most people do. And you're like, no, it's just you guys. Yeah. So it's just an automatic response that I can't even shut off, which is really kind of annoying. We actually cut out most of them because I do so many of them and my editor has to cut them out, right? Because it's just the way that I interact with people. And it's funny that you highlighted it. Now I can't stop thinking about it.
No, but when it speaks to you and in the sound, you find exactly what it means. I mean, it's you. It's your power, your energy speaking to you.
I love this.
Okay. It's a wonderful thing. All I can tell, it's like we've been given information we're coming to a change very soon. Whole global cycle, big changes coming. And this information is here for humanity at this time. It's never really been available before. We've had bits and pieces of what's true and what's verifiable and how it ties into reality. But to actually know how it works and to be able to access it, this is new.
Exciting time that we live in. Good thing we have the internet now, so I can meet you randomly from across the world, right? I know we have to start wrapping up. I'm going to ask you the last question I always ask, and besides getting the report, and they can get the free one on your site anyway, and then the advanced one is extra. But besides that, and knowing what their human design is, what is one action listeners can take this week to help move them forward towards their goal of 1 million?
see where they're being distracted. Notice where you're being distracted, where you spend your time. Notice how you get in your own way, and just notice it. Do a quick review of the day. You got so far and then you backed away, and then you did it again and again and again. People self-sabotage because I think to be a millionaire, you've got to have enough self-value to be able to allow that to come to you. People say they want it, but do they really think they're worth it? A lot of them don't, and then they meet this barrier, and it comes up in lots of different places. And to know your self-value, you've got to know, what it is that you can bring out happily, not fitting yourself into something just for money. What you love, what really works for you. That's what I would say. Watch where you get distracted, and a step at a time is a step closer.
So good. So appreciate that. And annoying. It's like, ouch. Oh, I know I'm getting this. Yes. We bump up against those so often. And we sort of push it to the side because it's like, yeah, but I got other things. That's right. Right. And it's stopping us from our true potential and what we have. Thank you so much for coming on, Richard. And we can find you at HumanDesign.info. And that's where we can get that free chart, right?
It's the free chart can come. The free report is going to be up on the new website that's not up yet. They can get the advanced report or a simpler one, as well as watching lots of free videos, and there's all kinds of things coming. But yeah, to get a taste of it, you can find out who you are with a time, date, and place of birth. Bang, up it comes. This like you have, up comes the chart, and you go, okay. And then you can find out what that is about.
Right.
Too. So,
because then you're like, wait, I have no idea what any of this means. Awesome.
Well, I'm changing all that, so it's going to be.
Yes.
They will have it'll come out very quickly.
Yes, and then you'll be crazy like me and have a big old 3-ring binder. I have it in a PDF form too, but I'm a tactile kind of person, so we definitely print it out.
I love it.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you coming up.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's great.
Aww.
It's really good.
Have an amazing day. Thanks. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that interview. And if you want to check out more amazing resources, I'm only curating the best of the best. Go check out eventualmillionaire.com. You can take the Eventual Millionaire quiz, figure out where you are in business and what you need right now. Plus, you can look at curated resources specifically for you on the new Start Here page. I'm so excited. Please join us. Please let me know if you need anything at all. I'm here for you. And have a fantastic day. Bye.